Sources tell CBS News White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn is on shaky ground. He's in trouble for not telling the full story of his conversations with a Russian diplomat. There are indications he discussed U.S. sanctions with Russian Ambassador Sergei Kislyak. But he told Vice President Mike Pence he didn't discuss the status of sanctions. In public, the White House is offering mixed messages about Flynn's status. Here's top aide Kellyanne Conway on Monday afternoon.
Does the National Security Advisor right now enjoy the full confidence of President Trump?
Yes, General Flynn does enjoy the full confidence of the president, and this is a big week for General Flynn.
But moments after that interview aired, the White House offered a more measured statement. White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said the president is evaluating the situation. David Ignatius is a columnist for The Washington Post. He disclosed Flynn's contacts with Ambassador Kislyak in a column last month. He's with us from our Washington bureau. David, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you.
First of all, what challenges has the fallout over these conversations created for the White House?
Well, I think above all, it's a test for President Trump to decide whether General Flynn can regain confidence of his colleagues in the White House, of the members of the National Security Council, whom he serves as National Security Advisor. That's a job that more than most in government requires the trust of the people that you work with. General Flynn was accused of having misled Vice President Pence. That the facts on that are still being sorted out, but I think it's really going to be crucial for him that if he stays in that job, he regain the confidence of his peers.
Speaking of that, we've talked a lot about the state of relations between President Trump and the intelligence community. What do revelations about these calls mean for those relations, you think?
Well, I think the revelation that at the very time that the U.S., the Obama administration, was expelling Russian diplomats to punish them for a covert attack by their intelligence service on the U.S. political system, and also, I should note, those sanctions involved mistreatment of U.S. Diplomatic personnel abroad. At the very time that was happening, the National Security Advisor designate for the next administration was talking with the Russian ambassador. Even if his initial statement that he didn't talk directly about sanctions proves to be true, there are a lot of people who would question the timing of that. Was it appropriate? I think for the intelligence community, which is deeply involved in trying to deal with Russian hacking, this Russian covert action, also has been feeling the brunt of Russian intelligence pressure around the world. This was disturbing. So part of what Donald Trump and his National Security Advisor need to do is, over time, regain the confidence of the people they're going to ask to carry out their policies. President Trump went to the CIA as part of that. I'm sure General Flynn has been talking daily with intelligence officials. That's part of what you do as National Security Advisor. But there were bruised feelings, to put it mildly, in the initial aftermath.
Let's talk about this North Korea missile launch. The president spoke just 33 words to reporters after the launch. Here's what Senior Policy Advisor Stephen Miller said to John Dickerson on Sunday.
Last night was a show of strength, saying that we stand with our ally. Having the two men appear on camera worldwide to all of planet Earth was a statement that will be understood very well by North Korea.
And Stephen Miller referencing there an appearance by President Trump standing side by side with the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. David, how would you expect North Korea to have understood that picture?
I think the picture is important, as the Abe visit was important, as a reinforcement of the fundamentals of the U.S. security relationship with Japan. Japan is really the U.S. most important ally in Northeast Asia. Japan is a big, solid country with increasing military power. It works with the United States on missile defense. And the Japanese view these North Korean missile launches that land in the sea to the east of Japan the Western Japan as a direct threat, potential threat to their security. So standing side by side, I think was sensible. Letting Prime Minister Abe have the strongest words that, as he said, this is absolutely intolerable, and to have Trump be more restrained in his very limited comments. No, I don't think that's a problem. What matters is the signal that this relationship is on solid footing after a period during the campaign when it looked like that might not be the case.
So, David, commentators have called this a test of the new administration. If it is a test, what do you think North Korea has gleaned from the U.S. response so far?
Well, I think it would be wrong to think that the right response to this test is some kind of instant display of U.S. power. U.S. power often is most persuasive when it's least discussed. And I think that there will be steps over the next month. There are scheduled military exercises with South Korea that the North Koreans regard as very threatening. I think they'll be bigger, stronger, more compelling this year than they ever have been. I think that sends a message in a real way. I think a kind of sharp statement, indignant language, I think that's in this situation not persuasive. Trump has said about the North Korean nuclear threat to the U.S., it won't happen. That was his statement several months ago. It's a pretty strong statement, and the question is, how does he back it up? And I think not rushing into that policy, but kind of letting it develop. He sent his Secretary of Defense, General Mattis, to South Korea and Japan to talk about this issue. That's the right way to do this. Carefully, deliberately, step by step.
All right. David Ignatius, thanks so much for your perspective. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Len.